What's in a name? Last year, as I was travelling through Australia, I often stopped at places with strange or unusual names. Names like Murwillumbah and Waterloo. I often ask myself, where do all these names come from? And what can we learn from them? Local people sometimes knew the answer, and sometimes they didn't. So I decided to look at these place names more closely and found out some interesting facts. Where are we? That's the question we all ask when we arrive in a new place. Think about it. How can we tell another person where we are? Many place names give us a clue because they describe physical characteristics like big hill, dry desert, or tall tree. Thousands of years ago, this is how the first Australians, the Aborigines, named places. Today, in Australia, there are thousands of places with Aboriginal names. Towns like Murwillumbah, good campsite. Nambucca, entrance to the sea. Bondi Beach, from the word boondai, the sound of water falling over rocks. And Uluru, big rock. The Europeans had different ideas. When they first arrived in 1606, they wanted to make this strange new land feel like home. How did they do it? Well, they borrowed names from the country they came from. It showed that these places belonged to them. French and Dutch place names like Bougainville and Arnhem Land started to appear along the Australian coast. Then, in 1770, the English explorer Captain Cook arrived in Botany Bay. Soon, there was Melbourne, a town named after a British Prime Minister, and Waterloo, named after a famous battle between England and France. There are other names with more local stories to tell. They tell us what happened to people who lived there. I was waiting for a bus in Tasmania when I noticed a sign for Hell's Gates. Later, I found out that the town got its name from a terrible prison nearby. The origins of Gerringong in New South Wales are equally dark. While I was visiting a museum there, a guide was explaining its history. Gerringong means a place of peril. It was the word the Aborigines shouted when they first saw Captain Cook's ship. Other names tell us how people felt when they arrived, like Mount Disappointment and Nowhere Else in the Australian outback. Perhaps the people who named these places hoped for something better. Altogether, there are over 250,000 names in Australia. Names of rivers, mountains, plains, towns and cities, and many more. These names can tell us what we can find there. They can tell us about history. They can warn us about danger. Or they can welcome us. Next time you travel to a new place, think about its name. What is it telling you?